In a grand kingdom, there lived a king who seemed to have everything. He was powerful, respected, and his people adored him. But beneath his royal robes and dazzling crown, he carried a heavy, invisible burden. This burden was shame, a secret regret from his past that clung to him like a shadow, poisoning his every moment of joy. He couldn't sleep, he couldn't enjoy the lavish banquets, and he felt like an impostor on his own throne. Every night, the memory would replay in his mind, and the shame would wash over him, cold and suffocating. One day, unable to bear it any longer, the king disguised himself as a common traveler and journeyed to a remote mountain monastery. He had heard tales of a wise old monk who lived there, a man said to possess deep understanding of the human heart. After a long and arduous journey, the king finally arrived at the monastery, his face etched with exhaustion and despair. He found the monk sitting peacefully in a quiet garden, tending to his plants. The king bowed respectfully, and without revealing his true identity, confessed his turmoil. He spoke of the great shame he carried, how it felt like a physical weight crushing his spirit. "Master," he pleaded, "this shame is destroying me. I would give up my entire fortune just to be free of it. Please show me this shame. I need to confront it, to see it, so I can fight it." The monk listened patiently, his eyes filled with a gentle compassion. When the king had finished, the monk simply nodded and said, "Very well. Come back tomorrow morning, at sunrise. But before you come, I want you to do one thing. Do not eat, do not drink, and do not sleep. Just spend the night contemplating this shame you speak of. When you arrive, be ready to show it to me." Confused but desperate, the king agreed. He spent a sleepless night in a small guest hut. His stomach growled with hunger, and his throat was parched. As the hours crawled by, all he could think about was his discomfort. The grand shame that had dominated his thoughts for years began to feel distant, overshadowed by the immediate nagging sensations of hunger and thirst. He tried to focus on his past mistake, to conjure the familiar feeling of guilt, but his mind kept drifting back to the thought of a sip of water or a piece of bread. As the first light of dawn painted the sky, the exhausted and famished king stumbled back to the garden. The monk was already there, waiting for him. "Good morning," the monk said with a calm smile. "I see you have returned. Now, you said you wanted to show me your shame. Please take it out. Let me see it." The king stood there, bewildered. He looked down at his empty hands. He tried to summon the feeling of shame, to feel its familiar weight, but it was gone. All he could feel was the emptiness in his stomach and the dryness in his throat. He looked at the monk, utterly perplexed. "Master, I can't find it. Last night I tried to hold on to it, but all I could think about was my hunger and thirst. Now it's just not there." The monk's smile widened. He gestured for the king to sit and offered him a bowl of fresh water and some simple rice. As the king gratefully ate and drank, the monk spoke softly. "You see," he began, "shame, guilt, regret. They are like shadows. They seem so large and terrifying in the dark, but they have no substance of their own. They only exist in your mind, fed by your constant attention. You spent years feeding this shadow, making it bigger and stronger until it felt like a real, physical burden." He continued, "Last night, I didn't take your shame away. I simply gave you something else to focus on your basic physical needs. By shifting your attention, you starved the shadow. You saw for yourself that when your focus is elsewhere, the shame cannot exist. It has no power over you unless you give it power." A profound realization dawned on the king. The weight that had crushed him for so long wasn't a real entity, but a creation of his own mind. He had been a prisoner in a cage of his own making. Tears of relief streamed down his face, washing away the last remnants of his long-held burden. He wasn't just a king. He was a man who had finally found his freedom. He understood that the past could not be changed, but his relationship with it could. By focusing on the present, on the needs of his body, his mind, and his people, he could let the shadows of yesterday fade away. The king returned to his palace, no longer a disguised traveler, but a transformed ruler. The crown felt lighter, the food tasted richer, and the smiles of his people filled him with genuine joy. He learned that true power wasn't about having no regrets, but about not letting those regrets define you. And from that day forward, whenever a shadow of the past tried to creep back into his mind, he would simply take a deep breath, focus on the present moment, and let it go. This story teaches us a powerful lesson about our own minds. The painful emotions we carry often gain their power from our relentless focus on them. But like the king, we can choose to shift our attention. By grounding ourselves in the present, by focusing on what's right in front of us, we can starve those negative feelings and reclaim our peace. What shadow are you feeding today? Maybe it's time to let it go hungry. Thanks for watching.